Hi, everyone. That was a shock. I turned away for 1 second and I came back and I was live. I wasn't expecting to see you all here. You caught me off guard. Hello, everybody. It's beautiful to be with you. It's wonderful to share another Q&A with all of you. Let me know how you're doing. Speak to me in the comment section. I'd love to hear how you're going. What is going on in your world? Planet Earth has become one crazy ride. We've got some great questions today. Thank you so much to the people who have submitted questions. I'm so looking forward to going through them. And I make a real note not to check the questions too much. I don't want to really think about them, because if I do, if I think about what I'm going to be saying before I say it, it's a disaster. You know why? It just doesn't come out right. So I've got to be in the flow with all of you. And that is where my heart wants to be right now. Hello, Jacinta, who's in Ontario, Canada. Ruta in Norway. Hello, my love. Hello to Kristen Urson Smith, who is in California. Hello, my darling. Hello to the gorgeous Sandra. Sandra's in the Netherlands. We've got Tracy in New York, Long Island. Hello, my love. The beautiful Annette Lusardi. Hello, my sweetie in Oregon. So many of you piling in with all of your happy hellos. This is my most favorite part, just so you know. I know you're here for the questions, but I must just share with you, I must just share with you, as much as you're all here for the questions, I'm here for this moment. This is my moment where I get to greet all of you, even the ones on the replay. You know, I feel your energy. I know you're here. You're with us all. And it just is this building, buzzing energy field that I'm connecting with right now. You can see behind me, it's nighttime. It's 8 p.m. at my time here in South Africa. And yeah, it's a beautiful winter's day today, not too cold. So that's my kind of day. Let's get into some Q&A. My eye caught something. Where was it? Rita said, just let me answer Rita's question. Can we ask questions here in the call? You're welcome to, Rita. I don't necessarily see them, though. I have asked people to submit questions beforehand. So I've got a couple of questions beforehand. But by all means, if I get your question out of the corner of my eye, then I'm more than happy to go with it. Put your questions in capital letters, please. And I always post on my Instagram, and I post on the community tab here on YouTube when I'm doing a Q&A, so that you can post your questions. But that wasn't it. That wasn't it. There was a comment. Where did I see it? From somebody, and I just caught there. Feeling overwhelmed. This is from Joy. Hello, Joy. Joy Knuckles, feeling overwhelmed by it all, trying to keep positive and strong. So I caught that for a very important reason, because I don't want you to do it. I don't want you to stay positive and to stay strong. I feel like the worst advice that anybody could give you is stay positive, stay strong. You know, just keep your vibe high. I just feel like when people are saying that, their intentions are totally pure, thoroughly well-meaning. Oh, you can feel the energy just shifted. Now we're getting into it. But as pure and well-meaning as those intentions are, it is not helpful. Why? Because it's unreal. And anything that takes you out of your authenticity takes you away from you. So you need to be where you are. So if where you are is just angry right now, then that's where you are. And if you meet yourself there in that authentic moment, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be able to work through it, to release it, to meet it, to discharge it. But if you are getting far away from that which you feel, by saying, I got to get positive, I've got to get high vibe, I've got to get away from this heaviness, guess what's going to happen to the heaviness? Nothing. It stays there. And I don't want that for you, Joy, and I don't want it for any of you. I want you to know that life is easy. And let me actually put that in a more accurate way. Let me say this more accurately. Life is not easy. Life is simple. And I know that simple is not always easy, but it is simple. Truth is always simple. And the simple truth of this moment is asking you to be as you are, to be where you are. So show up to your authenticity. And yeah, it absolutely takes courage, huge courage. Let me know in the comment section, are you doing that? Are you able to show up and meet yourself where you are? Because if you can do that, if you can meet yourself in the moment of your authenticity, you're doing something phenomenally powerful. And I want you to know how powerful you are. To know that you've got everything you need right now. If the shop's closed tomorrow and some kind of craziness beyond what we've known hits you, you've got everything you need. And I know a lot of you are going to go, oh my gosh, I'm unprepared. I've got nothing. I need this. I need that. You've got everything you need right now. Even if you don't have it with you, you have the resources within you to get what you need. And I'm talking about a physical level, emotional level, spiritual level, mental level, everywhere. Jenny, hello, Jane Galbraith. Will we know when our bodies, oh yeah, you sent me this question, I did get this. Will we know when our bodies have transformed from carbon to crystalline? Because we know that that's happening, right? We know that what we're doing right now is we are shifting from a very dense carbon-based form into a much lighter crystalline form. So that shift in density from carbon to crystalline, it confuses a lot of people because one of the other questions, funnily enough, is still on the crystalline body. That was from Tracy, I think. And it confuses a lot of people because we're using the thoughts and the thinking process of the old paradigm and trying to use that to figure out what the new paradigm is going to look like, and it's not going to work. You've got to give up the way that you think and everything you think you know in order to make sense of and understand where you're going. So the shift in density, how do you know that it's happened? There's many ways. Let's talk about it happening. Because when we talk about how do we know it's happened, then it sounds like there's today and some other day in the future, maybe tomorrow, maybe 2 years' time. There's today and a date in the future, and I'm going to then move from a carbon-based to a crystalline-based being. That's not how it's going to go. It's going to be a transition. It's going to be, for some of you, a not gradual transition. For some of you, it's going to be a very, very fast transition. For others, it's going to be a lot slower. It's not a race. You're going at your speed. The transitional process on the physical level, if we were looking for physical signs, there are so many, but one of them is this. I'm looking at my hand right now, and you can see I've got lighting on me, so this makes sense what I'm going to say. There's a little bit of a glow on my skin. When I look at my hands, I see a little bit of a glow on my skin. But if I were in the sun, I would notice this even more. And if I really took the time to look, specifically in sunlight, and I kind of shifted my hand like this in the sunlight, I would see a rainbow-like light being reflected off of my hand. And I know, there's some people that are going to go, oh no, that's just normal. And what are you going to say? That's probably the oiliness of your skin, the natural skin oils reflecting the sun. If you've seen that glow on your hands or body or the skin of any others, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. It is not something you've seen before. It's an iridescence. And you literally begin to glow. So one of the most obvious ways in which you're going to see that transformation on the physical level is you're going to start seeing more light. Have you seen that in people? Have you seen people that have this phenomenal glow on them? You're starting to see the crystalline body. So if you allow yourself that, sorry, I was looking at a comment quickly. If you allow yourself that, first of all, the idea that this is a progression, not an instantaneous thing. Second of all, that you're going to start seeing it in very subtle ways first. And yeah, it's going to be what we might think of as a healthy glow, except it's a ridiculously healthy glow. We're going to start seeing, more importantly though, we're going to start seeing people shifting their mindset. That is the ultimate way in which we know that we're shifting. And when I say people shifting, don't think for a moment I'm saying people out there are going to do it. I'm saying you're the people. You're the people that are going to be shifting. And one of the things is you're going to stop caring about the people who aren't catching up to you. And you're going to start caring about blazing a trail forward, and that's going to motivate you. So instead of looking behind in frustration and saying, I wish they would catch up, I wish they would catch up, you're going to start blazing that trail forward. And as you do so, you're going to start becoming so committed, so aware, so embodied, so devoted, so focused on the truth that is revealing and unraveling itself right before your eyes, because that's the only thing you need to see. That is what you need to see. That is one of the big ways that you will know, oh, a big shift has taken place. And then you'll start seeing more and more subtle signs. Here's another one, and it's less subtle. You're going to start coming into coherence with others. There are going to be people on the planet who are making this shift into the crystalline body. And as they make the shift into the crystalline body, they're going to start speaking the same language, reversing the Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel was a spell put upon humanity, and it was the spell of division. When we start seeing people of various cultures, various languages, various race groups, various backgrounds, we're going to start seeing people coming together, and there's this instantaneous, bam, we're on the same page. You don't have to explain anything to me, I get you. You don't have to convince me, I'm on your wavelength. And when I'm on your wavelength, this is important, when I'm on your wavelength about one thing, believe me, I'm on your wavelength about everything. And you might think, how is that possible? How is it possible that we're coming together in such cohesion with each other that we're going to start noticing that we speak the same language, even if it's with different accents, and even if it is with literal different languages? I envision us kind of having Google Translate on full speed, however that plays out. What I'm talking about is the language of the heart. There is going to be one language and it's coherence, one language and it's harmony. And you're either tuned into it or you're not. And if you're not tuned into it, these are the choices that you've made, and they're not bad choices. And it's not going to bug you. This is the great thing. If you're not tuned into it, you're not meant to be there, and therefore it's not going to bug you that you're not there, and you're probably never going to watch this video or even be aware that there is a group coming into cohesion and you're not a part of it. Instead, you're going to focus on the group that you are a part of, which is a group where there is disharmony and where there is bickering and where there is no common language of love, where there is a lot of people who are supposed to believe the same things but are totally splintered even within the same ideologies, same thought groups. So does that make sense to you, Jenny? Does that make sense to you, everyone? That when we're talking about the shift into crystalline body, we're talking about the shift into crystalline consciousness. Yes, there's physical level things that are definitely going to go on with the body. The body is literally going to become a light body. Literally going to become the light that you are. But it is a progression. And the progression occurs in such a way that you're going to kind of become aware, there's less resistance in me. Isn't that lovely? There's less fight in me. Isn't that comforting? There's less density in me. Isn't this how it was always meant to be? You're going to start seeing the chaos and division outside of you as the illusion that it is, and you are not going to want to get embroiled in it. You are going to see it like you're seeing a movie, and you're going to go, I can't deny that it's real. I just have no desire to interact with it. And that's the first thing that I say to you. How do you know you're getting into crystalline consciousness? Your focus is on it. You might not call it, though, by that name. You might not call it crystalline consciousness. But it is a focus on your unfolding truth. And the humans of crystalline consciousness start banding together, start coming together, and very little explanation is needed. Very little conversation is needed. It is a simple, I see you, I know you, I've got you. It's the resonance of love, and it's there or it's not there. Right? So I want to just check in there. Will our pets ascend with us? This is a great question. I love it. Will our pets ascend with us? That's from Kristen. Hello, Kristen. You see, when you ask the question, will they ascend with us, whether you meant it this way or not, the concept, the underlying concept here is that we're going to go somewhere. You know, so will our pets come with us? I get what you're asking. Will they come with us? No, because we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We're going to embody that crystalline consciousness. We're going to embody that light. Pets in particular, animals, vegetation, plant life, the mineral kingdom will have no problem. Absolutely no problem switching on to your level. Why? Because they're already there. They're already in heart consciousness, and anything that is in a heart coherence, a heart resonance, is absolutely at the drop of a dime going to be there with you as you ascend. However, be clear that it is not a going somewhere, it is a being something. That's what ascension is. Ascension is your beingness. So will your pets ascend? Yeah, absolutely. You'll this is something that many people have asked me, not about pets, but about children. It's the same question. Will my children ascend with me? You know, the terror of a parent. What if we're separated at ascension? Ascension is not trauma-based. Ascension is the fruition of divine love. And it just runs through your body. And any and everything that can meet you there will meet you there. Same with children. It's automatic. Children are heart-based beings. So for them, there is no real effort. It's like a switch. It's like a switch. On, off. Heart-based, not heart-based. Attuned, like Jenny's question earlier with crystalline consciousness, attuned to crystalline consciousness or not. That's where we are right now. You'll notice that we have no shades of gray. It's very black and white in terms of you're switched on or you're switched off right now. And yes, there will be those who move from the off switch to the on switch. But for them, it's going to be like a pop awakening. It's going to be a whoa, cold water slapping you in the face kind of feeling. So those that can attune to the on switch will easily make the transition. Oh, Rita, that's just a brilliant question. I'm so very, very glad you asked it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think everyone's going to love this question because everyone's asked this question. Rita asks, I heard some channelers say we need to prepare food, water, emergency stuff because something big is coming. What is your take on this? As we move into this crystalline consciousness, I love how the questions start flowing together. As we move into this crystalline consciousness and we move into our ascension consciousness, it's going to be automatic, not fear-driven. Automatic, not fear-driven. To want to become more self-reliant. It's just going to make sense to you. You're going to stop This is how you know you're going crystalline. You're going to stop looking to books and teachers and preachers and gurus and external authorities to tell you when to prepare, what to prepare, how much to take and what to do and what to think. You're going to start knowing things, just knowing. And you're going to start coming into alignment with your knowing. And as you do this, you will automatically, because it's just going to make sense to you, know where and when and how to become self-reliant. Maybe it's a group of friends gathering together. Maybe the group of friends is online. Maybe they're in each other's physical proximity. Maybe you haven't met them yet. And if you haven't met them yet, then that means it's not time to prepare. Maybe you're going to go solo. Each one will be called and will know when it's their time. But when it's their time to prepare, that is. But should you be preparing, not from a place of fear, not from a place of hoarding, and not from a place of fear. Now, here's the old human concepts, the old way of thinking that I spoke about in the beginning. The old human way of 3D carbon-based thought will be this. Who cares what my motivation is, so long as I get the job done? So who cares, according to the dense carbon-based human, what the underlying energy is whilst I'm stocking up? It's just that I stock up. No. As you shift to crystalline consciousness, everything hinges not on what you do, not even on what you say, but on the energy that you're in when you do it, the energy that you're in when you say it, and you will just know that. You will know that your integrity and your alignment and your centeredness into your truth is everything. You will know that the universe is tuned into that it reads that like a book, that it responds to that it answers you in that alignment or that lack of alignment. So if you feel like, oh, I'm not getting clear answers, okay, see if you can come into alignment somewhere. See where you are skew in yourself, where you might be able to come into a centeredness, which is based on integrity. When that becomes your navigational instrument, your integrity, the universe will lead you so clearly. So worry less about, should I stock up? Worry more about the energy that you're in when you do that. And rather than stock up, change the wording from I need to stock up, because that's like stockpiling, hoarding. Change the wording to I need to become self-reliant. Because even if you don't need the stuff, like the food, because maybe the stores are going to have food for you. Maybe there's going to be no crisis. Self-reliance is going to be the most obvious thing for you to do, because nothing in you is going to want to eat anything that isn't pure. You won't be able to do it because your crystalline consciousness is getting switched on. Right? Making sense, everyone. Let me know. Let me know how this is landing, and if this is either creating more questions or if the answers are kind of quelling the thirst for you. Hello, and Nina Bueta. I've just tuned in and I'm in awe. Thank you, beautiful, gorgeous. Oh, I love the compliments. Thank you, Anina. Great that you're with us. So I've got another question. Would you believe this about the crystalline body? I don't know if there was a memo sent out behind my back that I just, wasn't privy to, but here it is. Here it is. Here it is. This is from Tracy, and Tracy posted this question to me on Instagram. Thank you, my love. It's a two-part question. The first part is super quick, so I'm going to do that one. Can you explain to me in a nutshell what the oversoul is? Oh, I can explain it in such a nutshell. It's so easy. Some people use the terminology, the monad, the monadic structure, the monad, which sounds like this, whoa, big crazy thing. The monad is the oversoul. Think of the oversoul as the collective soul. And you've got it, right? If I say to you the collective soul, then you can understand, oh, it's a collection of souls of the same vibratory frequency, the same nature, the same collective consciousness to such a degree that at a higher level they are congealed. At a higher level, they are in fact one. Dolphins taught me this, because dolphins know everything about collective consciousness, because they are a collective. They're individual bodies that can tune into and out of collective perspective and individual perspective. They have a very, very unique disposition that they can do both. A dolphin can be aware of itself as an individual, but it can also be aware of itself as the pod. And the pod, in a sense, a pod of dolphins, is a being. That's what a true collective is. A being in numerous forms. So the oversoul, the monad, the collective soul, all names that mean the same thing, are a group of souls that are one, that are of the same origin. Right. Second part of the question. Why don't we need, why we don't need the lower 3 chakras as we evolve and turn into crystalline bodies? I don't know who told you that. I don't know who told you that you don't need the lower 3 chakras, because that's not accurate information. And this is why, by the way, this right here is why it's imperative to stop listening to others. And I say this with love and reverence and respect to all of the spiritual teachers out there. I honor you for the work that you're doing, but it is time now to lead humanity to their own knowing, that they can feel these answers for themselves. See, in a conversation like this, you will have already understood, each one of you here, that I'm talking and I'm explaining things. But you, and those of you who are energetically sensitive will know this, you're feeling energy moving through you at the same time, because you're getting activated at the same time, because I'm speaking into your knowing. Yes, even you on the replay, I'm speaking into your knowing. So let's not be at the mercy of other people said, because then we start getting snippets of stories that don't make sense and that aren't necessarily reflective of the bigger picture. Having said that, I know where the concept comes from. I know why somebody could potentially confuse this. When we look at the base chakra, that's the rich, bright, wonderful red base chakra. When we look at that, the base is survival. It's all things survival orientated. And as we evolve into crystalline beings, it is not going to be about that anymore. So the base chakra is not going to be about survival, because a crystalline being doesn't have fear-based survival consciousness, doesn't have lack consciousness, doesn't have all the things that can become imbalanced in the base chakra right now. Right now, an imbalanced base chakra says, I'm alone, I'm insecure, I've got no life force, I've got no energy, I'm totally depleted, and I'm prone to being in survival instinct. That's the nutshell version. As you upgrade, the base chakra stops being resonant with those things, and it starts being resonant with higher vibratory frequencies. And it starts being reflective of higher vibratory frequencies, such as connection to self, to others, to land, abundance. It starts feeding this abundance cycle into your body, and you start realizing instantaneously not only that you're abundant, but that the universe is abundant, that everything is based on a template of abundance and everlasting life. So your ability to regenerate is going to come from the base chakra. So do you think you're going to be without it? No, I don't. I just think it's going to upgrade. Take the next one, the second chakra from the bottom, which is the sacrum. The sacrum, I've got a wonderful meditation, and I did it ages ago. It's probably due for me to redo it. It's called Sacred Sacrum because it is holy. It has everything to do with activation of the pineal gland. Would you believe that? On the lower level, though, this dense carbon-based level, when we can look at this orange chakra, the sacrum, we can see sexual insecurity. We can see shame happening there. We can see people who get very easily stifled happening in the sacral area. So when you're out of touch with your flow, the sacrum becomes clogged. The people who have this dense, heavy sacrum energy tend to be very depressive, very defeatist, kind of negative, really. That's the imbalanced sacrum. But let's talk about the higher consciousness of the sacrum. And that's a big conversation. You do not want to be without that chakra. It's a really important chakra point. The sacrum is, it sounds like sacred because it is sacred. It is where God connects to you. Isn't that astoundingly beautiful? It is where God, source, creator, consciousness connects and plugs into your beautiful body. And it's where your creativity comes from and how you express it in the world. Solar plexus, dense, heavy, carbon-based version. It's about no sense of self, total disconnection to your own presence, total lack of connection. Don't know who you are. That's solar plexus stuff. Not just the balanced version. I'm not talking about the balanced version. I'm talking about the higher consciousness version. The higher consciousness version is where your divine presence takes its seed form at. The seed of your divinity is in the solar plexus. So again, you're not going to be without that. It is upgrading. But the entire chakric column is upgrading, not just the lower three chakras. The entire chakric column is upgrading. And you will start to realize that the lower chakras extend far down into the earth, that the upper chakras extend high up into the heavens. And you will start to see beyond the 7 chakra system, the 7 chakras on the body. And you'll start to realize that that is a part of a beam of light, which I call the central core column. And that's, I'm smiling because I know so many of you who've done my courses, you know all about the central core column. Stability 1, 2, and 3, which are courses on my website, you're going to deal with that central core column, which is the chakric column. That column is astounding. First of all, it connects you right into the monadic structure, the oversoul. Secondly, something very profound happens there. And that is those chakras that we've thought of in the past as separate, individual balls of energy are going to start to merge. They are merging now. And as they merge, that column becomes like a rainbow of light. So I want you to imagine that each chakra is encapsulated in an energetic membrane. And imagine that that energetic membrane is becoming thinner and thinner and thinner to the point that the chakras start to meet and flow into each other and start merging with each other. So instead of visualizing these independent, separate, isolated chakric points, you're going to start seeing a rainbow column of light, which is an infusion of all your consciousness. So when you look at the galactics have exactly this that I'm talking about, that activated central core column of light, and it is flowing and it's rainbow. One of the first things I noticed about them was, hey, you guys are set up differently. You're set up really, really differently. So I want to go to another question. Thank you so much to Tracy on Instagram for asking that great question. I need to make space here on my desk and take a water break. Oh, that's awesome. Hello, Sue's Light World says, I saw and I see this rainbow. That is brilliant. So I'm looking in at questions. Lisa, thank you so much. By the way, Lisa Leinen is adminning for me on the chat section. Thank you so much, Lisa. If you'll put the questions for me on the Telegram chat, then I'll see them a lot easier because I'm missing a whole lot of questions. I apologize for that. So thank you to everybody for the awesome questions. I got a couple more to go though, so I want to speed up so that we can get through some more questions. How's this for a beautiful question? I love this. This is from my Telegram group, so you can see I try to take a question from Telegram, from Instagram, from YouTube, so I'm getting everywhere. I'm giving everybody an opportunity. Trish says, will some of us be in the eye of the storm over the next few months, or will we all be caught in the middle of what's to come? Now, the implication here is the middle of what's to come is going to be a damning storm, and it's going to be a hell ride, and it's going to be hair-raising, and it's going to be Armageddon 101. And maybe it will be. Maybe it will be. But not for everyone. And to you, the ones listening, most likely not for you. Why do I say this? Why do I say this knowing, because I've spoken about it before, at the last Q&A that I did, I spoke about this. I said, be prepared. Stuff's going to get crazy out there. You think it's been crazy, it's going to get crazier. And whilst that's true, I spoke earlier about your integrity. I spoke earlier about your crystalline consciousness coming online, and I said it's an on-off switch. It's either on or it's off. And the beauty of that on-off switch is that when it's on, you're shielded. In a sense, you're cloaked. And by cloaked, I don't mean to say you are literally invisible. But have any of you noticed this? Have any of you noticed, let me know in the comment section, that people just ignore you sometimes? Like, it's strange, like you're in a shop and you're looking at the shop assistant, and the shop assistant is somehow just managing to miss you. And if you call their attention, obviously they can see you. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you standing there. What's going on with that? What's going on with so many beings of consciousness feeling invisible? That invisibility is not your imagination. That invisibility that you sometimes, I know it's not every day, that you sometimes experience is the result of someone who's in a different reality to you, battling to interpret or to read your energy. So they don't. They just skip past it because you're operating in a different frequency and they can't connect to it. They can't tune into it. It doesn't make sense to them. And because it doesn't make sense to them, it's ignored. You're ignored. I explain this to you to understand the bigger concept here, and that is those who are tuned into their consciousness, to heightened human divine consciousness, which is everything right now. If you think that your job is important and your bank account is important and all of the things, whether it's the study or the job or the next raise you're going to get or your boss's approval, if you think those things matter right now, think again. Because this is a one-way track to your divinity. Things have sped up. Not they're speeding up, they've sped up. But as you fast track to your divinity, what you're going to find is something beautiful. And the beauty is that you're starting to see the world for the illusion that it is, and you're not getting caught in the illusion anymore. In fact, you're feeling quite a distance between you and the chaos. And this is what I said earlier when I said the chaos becomes like a movie. Becomes like a movie, and you're watching it, you can see it, but you're not reactive to it. And it's not touching you directly. You know, you hear these stories every day. You hear these stories about people who were in the worst situation, but kind of escaped from it unscathed, right? We've all heard these stories. And we all marvel and go, whoa, what are the chances? Apparently, they're very good. Your chances are just that. Your chances of navigating through the storm unscathed are really good, because you're not vibrating at the frequency of chaos. You're not vibrating at the frequency of the storm. So the storm bypasses you. Trish, I hope that makes sense. Are our family members shielded as well if we are shielded? Yeah, absolutely. Particularly children and pets as well. And why do I say that? Because when you have children, you are the guardian, you are the custodian. And I'm not talking about your 40-year-old child, you know, I'm talking about young children, and there's no real rule here. There's no rule written down that's universal that says it's age 16 or it's age 18 or it's even age 21. It very much depends on their maturity level, but it's around about the age 16 to 21. Underneath that age, they're regarded as children. They're under your custodianship. And because they're under your custodianship and your care, they're under your influence, your energetic influence. So you become like an umbrella, for want of a better way of putting it. I'm checking in on the comments. Thanks, Kathy. Kathy and Tate, great question. Will people who have their crystalline body not get sick from, from sickness? Let's say that. Will they not get sick from sickness? I'm just wondering if it has anything to do with why that sickness is here on our planet. Thank you. That sickness and any sickness and all sickness can be an upgrade or an attempt to an upgrade. And if the body can't handle the upgrade, the body's going to check out. The body's going to go, look, I tried to upgrade, because every illness, whether it's cancer, whether it is, you know, I love the descriptive words people have for illness. They talk about illness in a very sort of normalized way. And they'll say, oh, you know, I've just got arthritis, no big deal. Or I've just got diabetes, you know, it's fine, it's managed, I take medication. Any illness, even the stuff that doesn't bug you every day, every illness is here to upgrade you. Every illness, without exception, offers your body an opportunity to cleanse, to purge, to upgrade. And what determines whether you can or whether you can't is this stuff here, the frequency that you've got coursing through your body. That's what determines how easy you can move through something. So does that then mean that you have failed? Because I know very tragically, I know somebody who had cancer, and she was a spiritual teacher, and she said to me, I don't want to tell anybody that I've got cancer because I don't want their judgment, which is a very sad state of affairs. When we're judging people who are sick because, oh, look at you, you know, you must be doing something wrong to be ill or to not be getting better. You're not processing it very well. That's a very, very distorted understanding of the nature of illness, because that's based on the concept that death is a bad thing. Maybe a person is doing everything right and they don't overcome the cancer or whatever it is. I mean, I'm just using this as an example. It's not because they're bad, not because they're unconscious. It's because it could be that that's what they chose, that was their exit point, exit plan. And have you heard of purification by fire? Yeah, this can be one of the ways. This can be one of the ways that a person burns off all of the karmic residue for themselves and their ancestors and cleans the slate and returns the ancestral line to pure divinity. So do not think for a moment that people who are ill, have been ill, that, look at these guys, they didn't get it right. There's no room for that judgment. There is no room for that judgment. We are here to honor everybody and to stop seeing death as failure, but to start seeing it for what it is. It's a progression. Here we are, we're talking about phase shifting from a dense carbon-based body into a crystalline body. What do you think death is for many people? What do you think death is? It's the same thing. It's absolutely the same thing. So it's okay for us to understand that illness is an upgrade, number one, and number two, that you can't declare what that upgrade is going to look like. It could look like the entire physical form gets burnt up. In other words, the entire physical form deceases, it ceases to be, because that's where the person has brought themselves to. I know many spiritual people, very elevated spiritual people, who've died of cancer. And I've been at their funerals and heard people whispering about, well, I guess they couldn't clear through their stuff. That's a horrific level of judgment and complete misunderstanding. So death is never you're not getting something. That is absolutely not what death is, and it's not what illness is either. It's just an opportunity for an upgrade. So I see lots of conversation going on here in the comment section. Sorry that I've missed a whole bunch of it. I do appreciate all of you being here. I want to see if I've got one more question. One quick question before I close. This is a great one. This is also from my Telegram group. And this is from Hira. Hi, Kerry. I'm Hira from Indonesia, and I want to ask how to stay sovereign and in our power at a time like this. It's not even how do I do it. It's not how do I do it like there's a recipe book. It's more like this. It's more like I'm here to do this. So instead of how do I do this, make it a declaration. Because you see, when you're asking the how do I question, somebody else is going to tell you and nobody else can tell you. This journey of sovereignty requires you to connect to yourself. So connect to yourself. And as you connect to yourself, one of the many profound things that's going to happen is you're going to start to become way more connected, way more switched on, way more intuitive. You're going to start knowing things, and you're going to start becoming aware that your sovereignty is everything. You're going to start becoming aware that this is not a formula that's going to tell you how to do it. This is a decision and a declaration. And the how-to is going to be different for everyone, because everyone's going to be called upon to step into their sovereignty at different times in different ways. For some people, it'll be a cinch, and for others, it'll be a challenge. But the journey into sovereignty is the journey to connection to self, decision, and declaration is your answer. How do you decide? How do you choose? And if you feel really lost and you feel really stuck, like, oh no, I don't know how to do this, go back to a previous video, forgive me for not remembering which one it was, where I spoke about willingness. I think it was a Q&A, in fact. I spoke about the power of your will. And the power of willingness is immense when you don't know how to do something. So in this case, if you didn't know, hero, which I don't assume that that's the case for you. I think you do know. But if a person didn't know, they would say, I don't know how to do this thing, but I'm willing to. I don't know how to step into my sovereignty, but I'm willing to. That's your decision and your declaration all rolled into one. Quick and easy. But mean it. Don't just say it, obviously. Mean it with fervor, with absolute commitment. And when you make that commitment, the universe will show you, will guide you every step of the way. So stay awake, stay conscious, stay devoted to self, and good grief, every single one of you, invest in yourself, whether your investment is time, because for a lot of you, you do not spend enough time with yourself. You're busy giving your time everywhere else, and I understand the demands of the world very well. So that's going to be necessary. That's not going to change overnight. But you've got to find a way to spend time on yourself. If you have it, spend money on yourself. So often, particularly as moms, we do this. We go to the store and we buy things for our kids, which is beautiful, but we neglect ourselves. There's an imbalance here. We spend fortunes of money on our children's education, but we assume that because we've graduated, we don't need any more education. And as much as I'm a huge proponent of each person leading themselves back to themselves, the journey to self requires support. The journey to self requires guidance. That's what these sessions are. That's what every YouTube video I've ever made is about. That's why I've got the Plasma Patreon Light Tribe, so that people can have a means of connecting to the pathway to self. That's what everyone needs right now, is an investment towards the pathway to yourself. Let that look different for each one of you, but commit to spending more on you, whether it's more time, more money, more love, more of your resources, more of your compassion. Spend more on you. Imagine that you matter. Imagine that you're important, because of course I'm being facetious, and of course you are. You're not important. You're essential. We had this wonderful moment in a recent guided meditation that I did. It was Land Swim 2. It's on my website. And one of the beautiful participants, Kristen Dolan, Kristen, I see you here in the comments, hello love, had this wonderful realization. And it was, oh wow, I have a role here and I'm needed, and only I can fulfill that role. And it's exactly the truth for each and every single one of you. And Kristen, I don't remember if that was at Land Swim or if that was a recent plasma call, but wherever it was a powerful moment and an absolute truth. An absolute truth, right? So I've got a whole lot of questions that of course I couldn't get to. I do appreciate every single one of them. I got a great question from Glynis, which I'm going to answer at the next Plasma Q&A. The Plasma Light Tribe Q&A is coming up the first week of September, and I've got a great question. It's going to be my first opening question, and that is from Glyn. Glynis has asked me about manted beings. So for those of you who are in the Plasma Light Tribe, prepare for that one. It's going to be an entertaining conversation as we connect with the manted beings. I can't wait to meet all of you again in this beautiful space. Thank you, Lisa Lyman, for checking in on the comment section for me. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Lots of love from my heart to yours. Bye-bye for now.